Today, George Pappas is being inducted into the Alaska Aviation Museum's Hall of Fame in recognition of his many contributions to Alaska aviation. As this year's recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award, Pappas is widely regarded as an artist with sheet metal, having repaired countless aircraft during his 61 years in Alaska. For this, he is known as the Wizard of Sheet Metal. He was born in Bridgeport, Nebraska on January 2, 1929. At age 18, he earned an A&E license, and soon after that, landed his first job working for Vest Aircraft, now known as Univair in Denver, Colorado.
And there were people, there was one in particular from Anchorage that would come down to Denver every summer and buy airplanes on consignment. Somebody would tell him, go get me a PA-12. So he would come to Denver and he would look the lot over it. He'd pick out a PA-12 and buy it. And part of the procedure was that when a customer bought an airplane, it was brought over to the hangar, and we mechanics in the hangar would do a pre-flight on it, change oil, check it over, make sure it was ready to go. And while we were doing this, we had this guy standing around BSing with us. And he would make 2, maybe 3 trips a year. And after a couple of years of this, he's saying, you know, kid, you really ought to come to Alaska. You like airplanes, and there's sure a lot of them in Alaska. And it sounded like a good idea.
In 1953, he moved to Alaska and went to work for Herb Menzing at Merrill Field. It was during this time that George earned his private pilot's license. Herb Menzing and Jack Peck merged their business in 1955, opening Alaska Aeronautical Industries. While George continued to work for them, he was often asked to ferry aircraft from Wichita, Kansas, which was near his hometown. On one such trip, George was set up on a blind date with Ruby Bennett, and by 1957 they were married. Ruby became an invaluable part of the business, managing most of the business affairs, while George focused on working metal magic. In 1959, George acquired the old Reeve Hangar at Merrill Field, now known as Wings of Freedom Hangar, which is where we are today. In this hangar, he started Aircraft Rebuilders, a partnership with Ben Werner. In the many years since then, George has repaired countless aircraft including Taylorcrafts, Twin Otters, Grumman Gooses, and DC-6s. He has also customized and retrofitted his own aircraft, including a 1947 CB and a Cessna 172 for Ruby. His work on the CB has won accolades from Private Pilot magazine and Don Kite, author of CB History. George's reputation as the Wizard of Sheet Metal only grew the more he worked. He attributes this to lessons learned from former business partner Ben. He learned the importance of always having the right tool for the job and built his reputation on his knowledge and vast tool set. The Alaska Aviation Museum gratefully acknowledges the contribution Mr. George Pappas made to Alaska's aviation industry and welcomes him into our Hall of Fame.